All right, so here we are. As promised in my last video, I'm going to try and build a MUD and multi-user dungeon and talk about it, talk about my thought process as I'm coding, focus on why I'm making certain decisions, how I approach things, how I think about it, and just see what happens, see where it goes. As per my last video, I chose to build a text-based RPG because I just like it. I like those things. It's part of my history. It's why I got started. Part of why I got started programming in the first place. And I remember being, when I was starting to learn languages, I would just get frustrated because I didn't have the programming skills or abilities to actually create the thing that I wanted. And so now, obviously I should, and I can do that. And hopefully people can learn from it or find it interesting or find bits and pieces here and there. So we're just going to jump right in with the plan and how I'm thinking about it, and see where it goes. So I'm just doing this unedited. So if you want like an edited video of what like a programming tutorial or something like that, it's definitely not this. This is just unscripted, unedited. It's me thinking, me typing. Me just figuring out, how I'm putting this together. So it's not going to be super polished or anything like that. I'm not going to have all the answers. In fact, that's also good to see is someone with 20 years of experience plus coding and just how little, you keep in your memory or how many things you have to Google if you're not doing it day in, day out. And certainly, I haven't been using Go in the last couple of years that much. So there'll be a bunch of that, I'm sure. And so you kind of get a feel for what that looks like. And so anyway, there'll be a whole bunch of things here and I'll just talk about them as they come to mind. I chose Go. Some people said C++. That would be fine. But I think Go is, just again, where a lot of the industry is going. It is kind of like a modern C. I enjoy it, so I can focus on architecture and things like that without going way back to my C++ days. And so that's where we're at here. We should just get started. Let's just talk about some of these things. So I wrote this little document, started this. I usually start with a document. So I'm the kind of person, I just jump right in to things. I don't spend a lot of time planning when it comes to personal projects. So that's kind of what's happening here. I already talked about this. This was the last video that I did. So, and again, maybe I'll stream some of these. I'll stream this, something like this later. But for now, I think I'm just going to record it and see how that goes. Also, the audio may not be great. I have my microphone here, and just generally being on the 50th floor, there's like kind of background noise. So maybe I'll try and remove some of that and make that a bit better. But, so the audio quality may not be absolutely perfect, but, we'll work with it and focus on the content. So let's get back to this. So this video, I'm calling this kind of the Hello World video. It's just getting set up with the dev environment, building a simple Hello World program, getting a basic client server working, right? Because again, MUDs work. I mean, you should be able to connect to a online server with Telnet and just start writing commands, right? Telnet is just plain text. So there should be no reason why that doesn't work. And that's what we're going to do. And then maybe set up some basic structures, right? I have this document over here that kind of talks about, some of the things I'm thinking about. I started writing this down and I'll write down more just live on the screen. So we'll start there. So let's see. Let's go back here. So I started this this GitHub repository, where are we here? It's called GoMud. This was something that I started before, but we're going to start over. Was this 2 years ago? Yeah. So I started building something like this. I used this repo before I started writing down some things, but again, I copied that into this document here, down here, but I'll pull from that. We're going to start from scratch and see where that goes. So, in this repo, I just have my Go mod file. So actually, I should say This also assumes you have basic knowledge of Go. If you don't, just, there's plenty of videos on that programming general. So it's not a basic programming tutorial, but even if you're familiar with programming, it'll give you a lot of some things you can think about, look at. You can go look up separately, like why is it this way. I'll try my best to explain some concepts, but I'm going to try and also move quickly and see how much we can get done in an hour. So don't expect too many explanations of the basics, though. Again, with Go, it's been a while, and I'll probably refactor things and go back later. But I'm kind of refreshing my memory as I go, and so I'll talk about that too. And so we have an empty README at this point. So yeah, so we have nothing essentially. Now for this first part, I think I'm going to focus on Go standard libraries. There's tons of libraries out there. There's things that make, I'm sure there's a Telnet library or whatever. There's all kinds of networking libraries with Go, but I'm not going to start there, although it's not a bad idea if you're starting going. But I think I'm going to start with the basics and use the Go standard library. And my decaf coffee, which I might go get more of. And then also I have my giant 64-ounce water that I have at all times, just to stay hydrated. And also so I'm not running back and forth and I can focus. When I'm coding or something, I don't have to keep getting up and getting out of the zone. I can just have my water here. So that's how I do it. Okay, let's stop talking and, well, we're going to keep talking, but let's start a new file. Let's start with the main program. Okay, so again, it's going to be crazy because I code right now I'm coding in Python and before that was a lot of Scala. So, things are going to be, I might mix up things here and there and fix it as I go. So, the nice thing about Go is that it has a pretty good formatter. It's built into the compiler, and so it handles all that for you. So that's what I'm using. I'm using VS Code here. I don't have an ES config or editor config, which I might add later for spacing and whatever. We're just going to start with the basics. So what is this complaining about now? Of course. Okay, so we're just going to get a basic hello world going. And I think I can run this from here, although I never really do that. I always switch over. Oops. So I can just go run main.go. I'm not even in the fucking, cannot run. Oh, of course, this is the main package. What am I talking about? So Go, you got to run from the main package, which is this directory in here. And now we might move files around, but we don't have to right now. Okay, hello world. All right, so there we go. So our basic main function, which gets called on executable, on execution start, and then print line hello world. Okay, fine, that's easy. Okay, so what do we want to do? So we've got our hello world. Now we want to start a server, essentially, right? That we can telnet into. So what does that mean? Well, what I would do is just knowing my networking background and whatnot, I'm going to start a TCP server that is just waiting for connections, and then it will accept new connections, and then treat that as essentially a session, right? So let's just start there. With Go, Go has a net library. Let me see here. Yep. Okay. So let's see here. Let's just look. I'm going to switch out of teaching mode and more into like me just coding, figuring things out mode. So I'm going to talk to myself a bit. TCP listener. Let's think here. I think there's a listen function. Actually, there's probably, oh yeah, so here's a listen, you pass, okay, TCP, 8080, fine. Okay, and then accept a connection. So this looks like what we want. So I'm just gonna take this. Let's create a new function, start server, returns an error. So as you see, as I'm saving, I have it set up so that it reformats everything, which is really nice for that to handle it for me. Let's do if not start server. Oops, what am I? See again, Python, I'm telling you. Start server does not equal nil. Let's just do this. Error. Okay. Now we're just gonna log fatal error. Log, okay, so that automatically imports, also a nice thing, and I don't know which extension this is using, but that's that. So let's actually, yeah, so log, is there log, is like a, oh yeah, print starting server, and get rid of our hello world. Okay, so what was that code I pasting? Save that to reformat it. Okay, so here's a listener. So we handle error, we'll just return error. So we're not gonna handle it here. Handle it outside. Except, so we're in a for loop now. So this is gonna sit here in a for loop forever, essentially, until there's an error. Well, actually it's just gonna sit here forever. So if there is an error here, we don't want to return from the server, right? Like this is sitting here. We want to be able to say, hey, this thing. Well, it depends on what type of error it returns. If some connection just can't get accepted, or there's some temporary error, we're just going to log it and then keep going for now. So let's just do log error. What are the log? Fatal print. Yeah, we'll just print it for now. Error accepting connection, error. I'll print that. Okay, so there's this go handle connection guy. So we get a connection. There's no, oh, we want to continue. Now, this could be like, I don't know, it's broken or something. It's just going to loop forever, which could be bad, but let's just see how it goes. So go handle connection. So we want a new function. Again, all this code's gonna move. You know, I could create new files and classes to handle all of it, but yeah. But for now, so we go functions. You know, this is just gonna spawn essentially a new thread and our new Go process or whatever the hell they're called, Go routine. That handles the connection for us. What is this not? Is this an interface? Yeah. Handles the connection for us. So we can't really error handle here, right? So this is done. It's saying, hey, like just start it, and I won't even think about it. We could wrap this and handle the error. So you could do, which I might just do. Where we handle the connection and print something. Let's actually do this. With printf, by the way, I think we need new line, but I think we can get away with that. There we go. Error handling connection. And then just log the error. And then that would just return. So it's nothing to do. We failed. At least it got printed. And we carry on with life. Okay, let's just see if that works. Let's do log println. I got a connection. Don't know why I did semicolon there. Nil. This never gets called because we have this for loop here, which exists forever. I don't know what kind of error this could return, but let's just say we'll force kill it. So later there might be something we want to do here, but let's just do this. Let's switch over here. Should I have made this bigger for you, you know, it's easier to read? I guess so, but we'll do that later. Can this get bigger? Yeah. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, go run main.go. Okay, starting server. Let's open up a new terminal. Go to source. Go to my directory. Not even there. That's because this is source. Not even there because go source isn't even a thing. So that's cool. Okay. Well, we didn't even have to do that. But what is it? Telnet. What did we open up? What? What? Sorry. I guess I'm not set up here. Let's see here. They removed it? Yep. Brew install. Telnet. Okay. I think the port is okay, whatever. Cool. Telnet. Okay, Telnet. We just do nope. Okay, we connected. I got a connection. Great. Now we can escape character. Now we're out. So, okay. So we got a connection. Now we want to read. So what did we want to do? We want to echo back, you know, what the person is saying, right? So what we're going to do here, I think, let's go back to the documents. Once we get a connection, we can read some bytes. So really what we're going to do is sit in a loop and continually read back what is being said. So let's just read one character at a time. So we'll do 4. I think this is blocking, which means it's, you know, it's going to wait until there is some amount of data. So let's just see what happens. It's what I like to do is just kind of like feel it out. So we'll read. Need a buffer. So I'm going to declare a buffer and make it large enough. In this case, it doesn't have to really be very large, but I have some, back in the day, for some reason, I mean, this is just muscle memory, is declare a 4K buffer for a socket. So whatever. And then it's how many bytes were read. We'll just use n. Is that right? I think it's just complaining I'm not using it. Let's see, if we can't read, we'll just print the error and then return. My typing is probably too loud, isn't it, when I'm talking? So we'll work that out in post, or we'll just fix it later. Return error. We don't. This would, if I just return, I'll just return. Okay. Let's see here. Now, I don't care about n. We'll just do if length of the buffer. Is that what we want? Let's see, it'll get set once, then reread. I don't know if it get cleared when it calls, so maybe we'll use n. I think if it reads 0 bytes, it means it was closed. So let's just log that. Means it was like disconnected rather than it being an error. So let's just go with that. And then we'll create a string out of this buffer. I'll call that message. And we'll say received message. I think we need that space. Again here, we're not ever really, oh yeah, a breakout there. Okay. Let's just see what happens. Stop that, restart that. Got a connection. Okay, so it's getting a full message once I hit enter. So receive message. How is that? Why am I not receiving as I type though? Should be, maybe that's just, maybe I'm just being stupid. And I remember, I thought as it's typing, you're actually receiving, sending messages. Something with echo or something like that. What the fuck? Let's see. Line or character mode. Mode. What? Wow, I'm pretty dumb. Okay, why would I expect that to even work? It just doesn't even make any sense. Okay, hold on. I don't know why I'm going down this path. Okay, this is good. See, this is the dumb part. I don't want to escape. Command mode and input mode. That's what we want. I think. I don't really know. Local echo. So that's Command E in character. Yeah, in character at a time mode. Okay, don't care. Makes this easy for now. Whatever. All right. So I mean, we're gonna get more fancy with this later, where Telnet will respond with like a prompt, maybe like, it's like a, I don't know, something like a $sign or arrow or something, where you type your commands and then it'll echo locally, and then you hit enter, it'll send it, and then respond back with with the response. So let's just echo back what the person said. So we just simply write back. Let's do something like response to you said. I think also we need like /r/n. Anyway, you said, you slash. Okay. You said the thing, pass in message. Let's do /r/n, format's not available, write the response. What do we need here? Write response and n there. So again, we don't need to redefine this. If n equals 0, and breakout. Okay. Oh, we need bytes. Actually, I think there's response bytes or something. What is it? See, once again, dumb. It's okay though. It's okay. Why? Because it's byte. All right. Let's run that. See how we're doing. How are we on time? It's been like 30 minutes, an hour, I don't even know. Okay, it's open. Already connected. Actually, let's do this while we're here. Oh, okay. Hello there. You said hello there. Ah, because there's a, right. So we need to trim white space. So when we get this message, let's trim it. I think it's, I don't know. Strings.trim. Yeah. What is this crying about now? No, I think it's trim space. Okay. So the new line was included from when I sent it. And so we are going to, hello there. Still doing the thing. Does trim space not, is it, what? White space removed. All leading and trailing white space removed. Well, what we can do is, because I'm being lazy, trim it this way. Let's see what this does actually. Is this going to be, did I? That's interesting. Yeah, so there must be the carriage return and new line there. So let's try that. Nope. Wait, what am I doing wrong here? You said a thing, and then I got the quotes. And I was trimming it. Is it? Even so, trim space. Let's see here. Is that, does it not, what? And we could print it as bytes. Let me just see something. Of course. HELLO, carriage return, new line. Okay. I see. Well, let's do this. We know it's carriage return new line, at least we know for now. So this is not going to be robust enough, but we could just do buff 0 to n minus 2. That should just work. Yes. Great. Coffee. We need this. It's fine. Okay, so we have hello world. Great. And it's talking back to us. You said hello. Also good. What now? Okay. Well, why don't we just do something fun, I guess. We'll start by defining some structures and abstractions. The way I think about this is, so connection is really just a session. So a session is, user connects, they do some stuff, and then they leave. And that should be tied to their connection itself. It should be tied to their user, or their account rather. So there would probably be some sort of like authentication that happens that gets tied to the session that just contains all the information relevant to them. And then, you have essentially when a session gets created, there may or may not be a character yet, but a character would get created, and then that character exists in the world. And so when characters are interacting, let's say like, you see another character, or you're in a room and you say something, well, then we should know from the system in the world, you should know, okay, given a room, who are all the other characters in the room, right? To be able to hear this message. And then of the characters in the room, from a character, you want to be able to get that person's session, which is going to get you to the connection, which allows you then to write back to them. So that so in other words, it would be something like, I connect, the session gets created. Let's say if I'm authenticated, I can look up my account, which pulls in a character, or I select a character or something. And then that character gets instantiated into the world, into a room. If there's other people in that room, when I type a message, like say something, the system would understand that message, would parse that message, understand it, and then broadcast it to everyone, everyone in the room, including myself, although the message would be different from me, by looking to see all the characters in the room. And for those who are not me, it would say, hey, so-and-so, my character name said whatever, and create that message and then send that through for that character's session, so the other person at their end, sending it into their connection. If that makes any sense, it's probably easier just to draw it or talk about it, but that's the thinking there. So that's kind of where I'd want to go next. So we can have multiple people in a room. So let's just do some of that. We have this main function. It connects to some stuff. That's good. Let's define some structures. Now, here I might be tempted to create more files and split stuff up logically, because I know that's where it's going to go. But for the purposes of this video, I think we'll just kind of stay in this file and move things around later. So first thing we want is a session, right? And as I was saying, struct. As I was saying, so this is essentially like a class or structure in Go. So that we know a connection's going to hold, or a session's going to hold a connection, right? So we need to know how to write back. And then we have a character. Now, this is obviously going to have to change, but we want we need a two-way way to get back from a given character who exists in the world to its session, and then I think, well, let's just do it that way. So character has a session. This is not ideal. Again, so this is where I start to kind of get thinking already about abstractions and how I want to deal with this. To me, a character, what does that mean, right? Is it a character? Could be an NPC, it could be a real playable character or whatever. You could start thinking about hierarchies where you have a base class, like an actor, which is much like Unreal Script. And an actor is a thing in the world, and maybe a character is Unreal Engine calls it a pawn. There's a actual pawn, like a character in the world. I keep using that word. Again, a living entity versus maybe I don't know if a pawn would also be like a rock. Anyway, whatever. Let's just keep it simple right now, and we can create abstractions later. So instead of character, just call it a user, right? So user in a session. So user persists, right? It's like an account or a specific user, and a user may have multiple characters or accounts or something like that. So we could go that direction. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll just put users in a room, right? Users in a session. So session, we need a pointer back to the session. Okay. And so then we want multiple, whenever a new connection is made, we want to track these sessions in the room, right? We'll just assume there's one room and one world right now. So let's just create world. And in this world, there are a bunch of users that are running around. What am I doing here? Right? You want pointers to those, which you should learn about separately. Why pointers, why not? I mean, all that sort of fun stuff. This is just a type, so it's not an interface. If this were an interface, you know, I might treat it differently, but it's not, it's a structure. So we're gonna use a pointer, change that later. All right, so there's one world, a number of sessions and users, and maybe a user has a name, right? Again, like this is all gonna change. And then we'll randomly assign names initially. Okay. All right. And we'll treat users as ephemeral in this world, right? And then of course, when a session gets disconnected, we need to be able to pull the user out of the world. So that's actually why, given a connection, we need to be able to get back to the session. And let's see, do we want to do that? Yeah. I mean, we just trying to think how I want to structure this stuff. Could keep a list of sessions and then do it that way. Let's just see how this nets out. So I could plan this out, but again, I'm lazy. I'm just going to jump right into this. So let's do that. Okay. Right. Okay, so first let's do this. Let's create a world. We'll just have a, actually, how do we want to do this? Let's see. We have our server. Start the server. Let's create our world here. And we could do callbacks, like should a server know about the world? Probably not, right? We just want some sort of callback when a new session gets created from our server. And then from there, we can like start to do some stuff on it, which is nice abstraction, right? Like what we don't want is like, you're in connection, like creating sessions, like should it care about sessions? If it cares about sessions, right? Okay, probably. I mean, you could also just return, handle connection, which could create a session. And then from there, we put the session, on a loop. Or we can do handle connection and we don't need this log anymore. Handle connection, which is going to sit there in a loop with the session itself. Maybe the session registers itself. But it doesn't need to care about who's in the world. That should be created separately, right? We should just keep it simple, I guess, for now. But I'm tempted to have this take a callback, which returns, the session itself, or registers the session. So if this, and then puts the session into a list and then creates the user, and the user then, well, first of all, I need more coffee. So I'm going to pause the video and come right back. Okay, so we're back here. So as I was getting coffee, I was thinking a little bit about how I want to structure this, and I think I do want to just jump ahead and use some channels here. My thinking is that when you start a connection, we're going to have the session get created, and then there will just be not callbacks. It'll be messages sent back to the game handler that's going to handle these requests or handle these certain types of messages, and of course sending messages back. Oh man, my computer is going crazy here. Hopefully it will calm down. So I'm just make sure this is doing what I want. So this is my first recording here. I'm just checking to see that OBS is doing okay. So good. Computer is about to take off. It's all good. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, start server. We know we're going to create a world. Start server. So we're going to accept connections. So let's just, I'm just going to get going here. World. Okay, we're not doing anything with the world yet, but we will. So let's call this, we know this is waiting, this is blocking. This is just going to be accepting connections right now. So one of these is going to have to be asynchronous, and it probably makes sense for the server itself to be asynchronous. So we'll just do that. Of course, panic. This is going to get caught and things will be okay, but we don't care for now. Actually, we'll just do fatal. We'll just close out. So we start our server. Let's create our world first. Start this, kick off the go function. And we're going to be listening for new users who join, and then we're just going to add them to the world. So what we want to do is create a channel here and make dude, channels. I forgot totally how this shit works. Channel basics. I've been here recently, so apparently. Okay. Blah blah blah. Make a channel. This is, yeah, so this is a channel, out channel. Okay. So we're going to make a channel of our event type. Let's create an event type. This is just going to be an interface. Actually, we can just do this. Let's just do interface channel. And we'll have different events. Type event. Let's create our event up here. Call this user joined event, and that will take a user. We will probably add user left, but whatever, we'll do that later. Actually, we can make start server non-blocking itself. Just to like, but kind of want to make the game loop. Let's do it this way. Getting kind of hacky here. I'm going to pass in the channel to that, and that'll start listening. This is going to send. This is send channel. This is going to receive. I think we can like specify like this is send only or something, or receive only. I don't remember. Yeah, we'll keep this simple. Let's just do this for now. Received event. Just comment that out so we don't get errors. Is it? There's like a, what is this? Let's see here. Buffers. Okay. Oh, yes, it's fine. Okay, well, that was not helpful. Okay, so pass in our channel to here. Let's just try something actually. We'll call it send channel or event channel. So we're going to have multiple routines passing into this channel. Let's just try that. Let's see if, let's make an event here. Type message event. Let's create a message. E. It's going to be a pointer to a message event so that we can typecast it later. What's this? Message by. Why isn't it like this? Byte. Oh, that's right. Wait. Okay. Now you can send it. Okay, so this is gonna say you can't send a receive only. That's right. So this is receive only. This is the send channel. So then the receiver is this one here. This is receiving. So this is gonna sit here and wait it's gonna block and wait for events on the game loop until it's closed, which we'll deal with later. And the server is going to sit here and loop and send stuff. So this will say you said, let's do this. Let's see what happens here. As usual, we'll just see what happens. Hello world. Okay, received event, hello world, exactly. That's what we wanted. Let's see how fast we can get through this now. So if we do switch event, let's type this. See, this is case whatever. Okay, i.type. That's what it was. Okay, so we can do like message received, and then we'd have a write back channel too, like to echo, which would be we'd write back to that user, to that account. But we're just gonna send. Well, we're gonna have to do that. So let's see how quickly we can get through this. And then I'm gonna go play some games with my friend. I don't know what we're gonna play. Maybe try some Sea of Thieves. I haven't played it yet, but I love the idea of being a pirate. Okay. Where the hell was I? Oh yeah, message event. So we can do case, what am I? Oh, that's right. Let's just do this. Let's do E here. Naming is hard. Case E. There, so we got the message. So now we can do okay. It'd be nice to send in the session here. We need to know who the hell this is. So when we connect, we're gonna get a connection. We're gonna create a session. And we're gonna pass in the connection here. Isn't this like IO reader writer or something like that? Read writer. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Why is this complaining now? This is not a pointer, it's an interface. Do we really want to? So I guess with every event, we do need the session. The other thing is like we can have this outer thing. Let's do that. So let's do like, you know, whatever. Let's call it a session message, I guess. Input. Let's just do client input. It's probably the worst name ever. Then that will take an event, and it will have a session on it. It's called sesh. Just whatever, name it what it is. That's what we want now. Now this is going to be of type client input. It's fine that we're not passing a pointer, and it's just a structure we're passing around. It's fine for now, at least. Client input. Now we don't need. Now call it client input. Let's call it CI. So naming is hard. Go loves like short. You see a lot of these abbreviated local variables in Go. Sometimes it can be hard to understand and read. Other languages like Java and whatnot, a lot of programmers say like, hey, just write out what it is. And you get longer variable names and all that. I fall in different camps depending on the language that I'm using. So I think in Go, it's the when in Rome principle where I'm kind of just do the thing. The way I think about naming of variables though, the closer the definition is to where it's used, it can the shorter the name can be, right? The more abbreviated it can be. If you're dealing with a global variable, you don't want W for world. You'd probably want like, I don't know, world, right? Or something, game world, all that kind of thing. So if you're a global variable that's used in a lot of different places, it should be named pretty specifically, right? Like a constant, even, like you would a constant. But because this is so small and it's only used here, like CI, you're like, okay, this is CH, well, this should probably be, let's say this client input channel. I mean, I could, you do that, it gets kind of get weird. You can do chan for short, but then I'm like, well, why? Why not just call it what it is? A few more characters, right? It's fine. Okay, client input channel. Good. That means this needs to change. All right. We'll call this input. Now we can switch on the event. Input event. What? What's going on here? Input event synthesis of type. Oh. Okay. Client input, switch on event, message received. Now we have the session because I can just do session if I want to send something back. User joined event. Let's do that. Oops. User joined. Okay, now at least we know who it is, and we can just be like format. So this could send back directly. So we don't actually need, I mean, we could do, I think this is thread safe. But I mean, this is also like, you shouldn't be writing directly a connection. It should be wrapped. You should be like session dot write some shit, which we could create. So first of all, let's just get this compiling and working so we're not losing our minds here. Don't need that. User joined. So what we're going to do here is create the session. I'm passing this in a lot, so let's do this. I could create constructors for this and wrap the client input, but let's just do this. User joined event. Event channel. Let's see. Join event. Here's the client input. It's already weird. It's already weird. Okay, what the fuck happened? Client input, we pass in the session, and we pass in the user joined event. Remember, this needs to be a pointer. And who joined? What is the user joined event? We don't have a user yet. And a user, what's a user again? Has a name and a session. We don't need that now. Let's just remove that and see what happens. Oh yeah, we do need that, of course. So now we'll create a user and their session, their name. Let's create a name. Let's do this global thing here. So this is not going to be thread safe, but we want a function that generate name. Let's just do random actually. So we'll do turn user, is it rand? Yeah. Int n. I think it's like 0 to 1. This. Why is this not? Oh, it's compile error. Where's the error? Just do that real quick. So let's do number. Okay, from 0 to 100, or 1 to 100. Should name these, I guess, name session, but deal with that later. Okay, user joined event, now we can pass in the user. Great. So when they connect, the user joins, and then we have, again, this is an input channel. Then we have the message event, which is actually needs to be wrapped. So client input. Again, we have to pass in the session and then the message event. E. Now, we're not passing in the user here, which I guess technically this, now that I think about it, this client input should probably have the user on it, which of course has the session on it. So that might be better. Or the session could also have the user. See, now we're getting nuts and you need to step back and think about the architecture here. But we're running out of time. This has already gone on long and my friend's waiting, so my computer is very loud and that's not great. What is running in the background that like is consuming? It's just nothing. Oh, the recording itself. And activity, okay, so it's just OBS being whatever, consuming too many resources. All right, so we have the user joined event, we have the message event, and then we have this, which we can move now, which we will move. But let's just give this a run. So user joined, great, hello. Okay, good. This is coming together. We should have just put their name. User joined. Okay. Now we have a world, so let's add the world to the user or users. Okay. We have our users now. We have our sessions. Okay, let's allow ourselves to send back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a function to the session. It's just like whatever, like write string. Yeah, we'll just cut that for now. As string error. Oh. Okay. And we'll basically do what we're doing down here. Of course, connection could be failed, but we won't deal with that here. Deal with that later. Turn this into bytes. Turn error. Why did I look down? I don't even know. Okay. So now we can go over here and move this code. Essentially down here. So let's echo. Well, let's do this. Let's just say, yeah, we'll do this, what you said. Let's do event session, write string. What is this? Oh, it's input session, write string, response. You said event.message. Okay, so that writes the string. So we could error handle here, but I'm just gonna avoid that for now. Now, let's say, welcome. Actually, no, let's just move this in here. I don't need this. Welcome, and then the dude's name, or girl. Oh, so write string. So let's make that, let's call this write, yeah, write, like write a line, and then we will do plus, we'll just add the carriage return for you. Okay. So we don't need this. Okay, right line. What's this? What? Oh, it's a linter, and it's saying I need to pass in the thing. Okay, so should print my name back to me when I join. Welcome user 82. Great, I'm user 82. Okay. So when we receive a message, we want to say what you said to you, but then print back to other people, to the other users in the room, what they said. So let's just do this here, and obviously this should be somewhere else, but what we're gonna do is go for you, let's do user, or users in the world, because we added them down here. If user does not equal, we don't have a user here, so I guess we could, see, this is where you want to pass in the user and who the hell this is. We could compare the user session, so let's just do that here. Already, this is getting messy. Does not equal the input session, so if it's not us, right? Obviously later we want to compare IDs and things like that. This should be range. This is not right. User. What? Why? Int. Did I just put users? World. World. Well, we should do this. No, it's going to be nil, so we're fine. Oh, of course. See? Language problems. Right, so this is the index, of course. Okay, so if input session does not equal session, then we will write back to this user. Printf, person's name said a thing. Now we want to pass in the input session. Oh, we don't have the dude's name. So this is where, okay. Yeah, so this is where we need to know who's who here. So let's refactor this real quick. The client input should have the user, or the session could have the user. Actually, the session, I guess the session could hold both things, right? But we still need to go from the user back to the session. I just want to keep track of stuff and have data in both places. So we'll just do it like this, which means we could even collapse it all. So we pass in user here, which means the join event, we don't even need the user here. That collapses out. So we already have it. We need the user here. This is a lot here to whatever, but it's okay for now. So now we can just do input.user does not equal us, and we have input, not on the user anymore. Okay, now we can come up here and say the dude ourselves input.user.name said some shit. Sent that message. Okay, so this writes to us what you said, what they said, and that should be it. So let's make sure it works for us. Hello there. What? Well, of course. Hello. I'm 82 again. Okay. Or does it needs to be seated? Probably. You said hello there. Okay, let's add another thing. What's up? Okay, so in this guy, in 82, user 8 said what's up, you said what's up, so I can come back here and go, not much. You said, and what they said. Okay, so now we have multiple users connecting, talking. Of course, if I close one right now, he's going to still think he's here, and this will probably error out. Let's just see what happens there. So, close out, sup. Okay, well, it's probably swallowed somewhere, and we should have some panics and handle that stuff. So, anyway, good. That's good. And so just now that we have this framework, it's pretty easy to, I mean, you know, we could write this in a broadcast event, but I could pretty easily, you know, come over here and say, so-and-so entered the world. I'm going to say room, entered the room. And we put that person's name. So now when I come over here, 82, cool. User 88 entered the room. Hello, 80. Okay, good. All right, I think this is a good stopping point. We have one file with a bunch of stuff in it. You know, next time we'll talk about how to organize this. There's a whole bunch of topics here. How we handle parsing and commands, how we deal with broadcasting, creating a few abstractions, like creating a room, so I can move room to room. That might be a good thing to do next. So rooms and then basic commands, right? You can type, you know, say, and you type something, or I don't know, look, and things of that nature. So we'll try that out. I think this was a good start. Hopefully this was somewhat useful in terms of how I'm thinking about things. It's pretty, you know, it's a little advanced. It touches on channels and things like that. And there's probably better ways to structure this and probably gotchas in here, but, you know, I think it's a good start. So let's call it done. And, you know, I might do another one live. Let me know if you'd like to see it live. You know, that might be easier actually, because essentially this was live. I'm just recording it, and we'll go from there and see what we need to do. So, all right, signing off.